But today is Friday, and on Fridays we get your BNSN Pathshala, which will tell you all exciting stuff about the technicals, learn more about technicals, what this means as well. And as always, to learn these basic about technicals, we have Kunal Bothra joining in with us. So Kunal, thank you so much for doing this always with us. And today, RSI divergence. What does this mean? What does this indicate when you look at these levels?
Thank you so much for that, Vinny. Again, I think the topic for today is a bit different than what we've been discussing earlier. RSI divergence, very, very important, a key concept in the field of technical analysis. RSI being one of the more prominent indicators, and I'm sure most of you guys already know what RSI generally means. It's the full form of that is relative strength index, and it's a very key indicator which we typically tend to map for each chart when we analyze whether it's on the shorter term time frame or the medium or the longer term charts for stock prices. So what we've discussed is one of the parts of how to try and visualize when the stock goes into a bottom formation. So we look at a very simple example of what RSI divergence is all about. These are two types of trends, for example, which maps out on the prices. One is where the prices go into a downtrend. So as you can see that the price, for example, on a relative basis is making a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. The indicator, that's the RSI, also maps very similar kind of a price trend trajectory for itself. But there comes a point when the RSI starts to form a higher bottom as compared to a price which continues to form a lower bottom for itself. So the price is forming a lower bottom and the RSI forming a higher bottom for itself. This is the first sign that a bullish RSI divergence is at play and possibly the stock is nearing a major bottom for itself. So the prices are not giving an indicator as such, but the RSI is giving a first-hand indication that potentially the stock is likely to form a bottom over here and it could see a revival of sorts. I've taken two classical examples over here, both of them large cap names, which have already shown such similar signs of a RSI divergence and how the RSI divergence has played out and what has been the resultant effect into the stock price. The first over here is Titan. This is previous year when the stock was going through a very sharp downtrend. Look at this very sharp downtrend from 2,700 to a point when the stock was almost at 1,800 levels. So a correction of almost 30% for the stock, which panned out. The intensity of the correction was more of on the higher side when the stock fell from 22,000 levels to 8,000. But over here in this zone, as you can see, that the RSI is actually forming a higher low for itself. This is a classical sign. So prices continue to form a lower bottom, the RSI forming a higher bottom, a first sign that a divergence is at play and the stock is likely to form a major bottom for itself. And then we wait out for triggers on the upside. And look at what happens. The stock reversed the entire downtrend, which was going on almost a 30% downtrend, to come back quite strongly and make a fresh swing high for itself in the subsequent next 2 months, just based on this potential RSI divergence. We'll see one more example, that's on the formidable PSU banking stock, SBI. The stock forming a very similar kind of a price divergence, price RSI divergence. Again, going through a sharp correction from sub 600, above 600 levels to sub 500 mark. And in this zone where the stock formed a double, lower low, the RSI formed a higher low, first sign of a divergence, and when that was completed, the stock started to get into a strong recovery and it moved from 500 to 600 marks. So a very classical concept of RSI divergence, very important when you are looking to anticipate stocks forming a bottom for themselves after a major phase of correction.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kunal, for the BNSN Pathshala. RSI divergence is what we learned about today. Thank you so much for that, Kunal.